morning to all of you. This is Thibaud Delourme speaking. So I'm team lead for Copernicus user Uptake, and in particular, I deal with everything that relates to startups. So what we wanted to do today is to give you an overview of a call for proposal, which we launched recently and might be of interest to some of you, which is the Copernicus Incubation Program. Next slide, please. So what I'm going to do is to start from the broadest perspective and to put that in the context of our user uptake strategy. The objective is to better connect the space sector to other policies and economic areas. So we want to build this middle layer, which will be able to transform Copernicus data and services products into usable information for the end users. So that's where we want to put our emphasis, and that's where we want new startups to develop and to thrive. That's why we developed the Copernicus Startup Program, which is made of 4 actions, which are on the screen at the moment, which are here to accompany startups from the creation of a business idea to its full commercialization. So out of these 4 actions that you see on the screens, those with the blue rectangle, 3 are already implemented or in the process of being implemented. So this is the Copernicus Masters, the Copernicus Accelerator, and the Copernicus Incubation Program, which I'm going to talk about today. So really the way we see it is that the Copernicus Masters and the forthcoming Copernicus Hackathons will be the entry gate into our startup programs. So these will be our 2 actions to stimulate the creation of new ideas in all European regions. I don't know if how familiar you are with these actions, in particular the Copernicus Masters. The Copernicus Masters are a competition of startups, of young startups, of students, of entrepreneurs who come up with ideas based on Copernicus. We get up to 200 applications every year, and our objective is to select the top 20 to 30% of these applications and to coach them through the Copernicus Accelerator, which we develop in partnership with SpaceTech and ATO in Oberpfaffenhofen. And the Copernicus Accelerator is an 8-month coaching scheme. So we've set up some couples between mentors and startups, and these people meet usually once every month, and they receive some coaching for up to a year. And finally, the best one out of the Copernicus Accelerator, and together with other startups which we would catch through other means, through other accelerators or through other incubators, these best startups, we would like to support them and to finance their incubation. So that's the final stage, and that's where this call for proposal fits. We would like to finance the incubation of the best 20 startups that use Copernicus data and services every year for 3 years. And the way it works is that we've launched this call for proposal to identify someone who could organize this program on our behalf. So it's what we call in the EU jargon a cascading grant. It means that we are giving the right to organize the program to someone who will then distribute the money to the startups. So this organization will then organize the program, and we'll have to select the best 20 startups every year. And these startups will be able to come from anywhere in Europe. The only condition is that they are supported by a support program. What we call a support program is any type of startup support program. It can be an incubator, it can be an accelerator, any incubator at a regional level, any cluster that has a dedicated program for startups can apply. It needs, and it simply needs to commit to include the startup in the program if the startup receives the EU funding. So that's the way it works. We give a voucher of 50K, representing 85% of the total cost of the incubation. And if the organizer believes that it is a good startup and the startup should be supported, then we give this voucher and these startups should be incubated in the support program. So typically, a startup would agree with an incubator at the beginning that together, if they get the voucher, the startup will be incubated in the incubator. So that's the scheme that we have in mind, and that we would like to see organized through this call. In terms of concrete details, if you're interested in submitting an application, you can follow this link. It's a public link. Of course, everything. By the way, I should specify that everything that I'm saying at the moment is recorded and will be put online to ensure that we have a fair treatment of all applications, including those that are not part of the relays. And if you want to ask questions afterwards, all these questions will be made public as well as the answers. So you can apply on this link. The deadline for submission is the 19th of April, so you have 1 month. The duration is 3 years, and the budget is 3 million euros as for the incubation of the startups themselves, and 450K for the organization. The way it's divided is it's a voucher of 50K per startups, times 20 startups per year. So that's a total of 60 startups for 3 years. That's 3 million euros. And the budget of the organization, as I say, it's 450K. So I will stop here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. As I said, they will be put online as well as my answer. Thank you very much.
CTTE in Spain is asking Thibaud, how is this coordinated with the ESA incubators?
The incubation program itself will be open to anyone. So not only to the startups that participate in the ESA BICs. It also means that if an ESA BIC wants to apply together with a startup, it can, and it will be judged on the same basis as the other startups that come from other incubators in Europe. So the startup itself doesn't need an incubator. It's the same for the organizer of the accelerator, of the incubator, the incubation program. It doesn't need to be an ESA BIC. It can be any person that has the required qualifications to be the organizer of the program. So it is very open in all respects.